So the past year and a half, maybe a year and like a quarter or so, I've met a lot of old friends. I've ran into people. I haven't really left too much Singapore, but anytime I would see somebody from out of town, they'd ask me the same questions. They'd say, how's Singapore? And then they'd say, Steve, you look skinny, which isn't a question, but they'd say it to me, as my face is like this. And then they would say, why Singapore? So I got tired of people asking me the same old shit. It's like, you should have seen me last night, the same old conversation, a million different people. So I decided to just tell everybody in one shot why Singapore, and talk about, you know, how this whole project came to be. Is everybody familiar with who I am and who Employees Only is, at least? Has anyone been to Employees Only here? I see a couple familiar faces. All right. Hey, Nicola, how are you? So, Employees Only is now 13 years old. I spent the last 10 years there, several of those 10 years as their bar manager and one of their principal bartenders. I just spent the last 2 months there revisiting, just to hang out and say hello and give a wave, eat pizza, and see family, in that order. Eat pizza, see family. So about 4 years ago, I was approached by the guy on the left here. Can we get the slide on, please? I was approached by this guy on the left here. He's going to kill me for using this photo, but his name is Igor Hadjismailovic, one of the original founders of Employees Only. He approached me about 4 years ago and he said, Steve, I want to do this project in Singapore. One of his old bartender friends, Josh, him and his wife Sarissa moved out to Singapore about 8 years ago, and they've been crushing it. They mainly open nightclubs and other high energy, high volume venues and stuff. So they kind of planted the seed with Igor and said, hey, you should come to Singapore and do this. I went there about 5 years ago and I saw what was starting to happen there. I went back 2 years later for the first ever Singapore Cocktail Week, and man, it grew so much since the first time I went. And something happened in New York which really pissed me off. I called an optional meeting. I felt like our cocktails, we've had them for a while. We don't change the menu that much in New York because of all the tourists. We don't really need to, you know? There's so many people visit New York City. But I wanted some new drinks, so I called a month ahead of time. I called a meeting, an optional meeting. It's like, hey guys, if anybody has anything new, you know, bring it to the table. Let's get some new stuff. And the meeting came, and only one person showed up. 1 out of 14 people showed up, and I got so fucking pissed off. I called Igor. I was like, let's do Singapore. Now, I need to be the most senior guy on staff. I need my own team. I need a fresh start. And one thing led to another, and I got this message on February 11th, 2016 at 6:16 p.m. It's fucking happening. Start packing. Kissy face. So that was in February. Signed the lease April 1st. April 12th, 2016, we broke ground. That was a photo of homie with the what have you. A couple months later, we started building out, and before you know it, on June 14th, that's just, 2 months after we broke ground, the doors were open. It was a crazy, crazy, crazy journey. Before I go any further, I want to introduce Jiawei Bai. Okay, he's my head bartender. He's one of my apprentices. Give him a round of applause. I'm going to talk about Jiawei in a little bit. He's just going to kind of hang out here. He's never been involved in something in this scale before. I hope he's not nervous. I'm sure he's not nervous. Make him feel at home, please. Laugh at any of his jokes. Yeah. Anyway, so we opened up 2 months after we broke ground. There was a lot of shit I had to do. So I'm going to go over just what I was thinking about. And in no way is this any set in stone rule, how you have to think and how you have to do things. This is just how I sort of went about my life this time, you know. Oh, since after we opened, all this happened too. We went crazy, people came in, packed, busy, and we finished 17th on Asia's 50 best bar list this year. Taking your brand global, things to consider. These are the 5 main things I would urge you to think about. That's what I did, at least. You want to think about the market, the brand, the competition, the location that you decide on, and also, of course, the money. Let's talk about the market, Singapore. You guys familiar with Singapore? It's been a very, very, very popular city as far as nightlife goes in the past couple of years, rightfully so. It's hot all the time, a lot of rules, very safe, very clean. You don't hear the F word much. If you do, it's usually coming from me. I'm the craziest guy in town, I swear. I'm the fastest walker in Singapore, too. But it's a very chill place and a very calm place. And I visited maybe about 5 times before I really decided to commit. And I asked myself, can I see myself even living here? I'm a Jersey boy, grew up, around New York City, lived in New York City the past 10 years. Can I adapt to this life? And the answer was yes, absolutely. The brand, are we a good fit? What adjustments do we have to make? Because I don't want to just copy and paste employees only in Singapore. This ain't freaking Disneyland, I wanted to make something my own. I told you I wanted my own team, I've worked at employees only longer than the freaking owners did, So I wanted to make it my own. So the very first Singapore Cocktail Week that I went to, I spent 10 days at the Park Royal, beautiful place. Did a couple guest bartending shifts with Igor, and we were just smashing it. We realized that nobody was working our style. And we looked at each other, and we looked at the bar setups that we had, and we're like, dude, we can do this. We can definitely do this. And the people, they dug it. They enjoyed what we had going on. Competition. I don't want to say competition in a negative way, because without the other bars in Singapore and the community that they have there, we wouldn't be open. They saved my ass big time on several occasions. So if anybody from Singapore is watching right now, I want to say thank you all so much, especially you, RG. Thank you for helping us out so much. And everybody at Proof & Co. and you name it, I have a list of people who helped us out. But you want to look at them too, though. Celebrity chefs have opened up in Singapore, been there forever. With all that money floating around, there's people that are well-traveled. When you think about Asia, it's like the gateway to Asia, really. English speaking, by the way, which is really good for me. I'm super good at English, 10 out of 10, professional. So, I appreciate that. So I'm thinking about all this stuff, and I'm looking at the other bars, and you want to ask yourself, are you different than them? Not for better or worse, you have to be different than all the other bars when you want to go to a new market. If I just went there and if I went to New York City, right, and I opened a bar where you have to ring a phone, right, and you go in through a phone booth and you sit down in a quiet bar, would I be groundbreaking? Absolutely not, So that's something you have to think about as far as your style and your product and everything. Am I different, and how am I different? All right, location, the actual building itself. I'm a feel guy, When I walk into a place, I like to feel the energy. I'm one of those weirdos, I can just feel everything. So we looked for a place for about 4 years. In October of 2015, we did a week-long little stint at the Mandarin Oriental in Hong Kong. And then from there, we went to Singapore, where we finally found this spot. We found a lot of spots. They kind of fell through. It didn't seem right. And that photo right there is from 2015. Igor, me, Josh, our partner Julia, Chef Julia, everybody else. We got in there, and it had a skylight just like we had in New York. It was a long railroad-style building, just like on the bottom right, which is a photo of our bar in New York. Even the front, the little green awning we have, and on the right is the Singaporean style. I was like, this place, it just feels right. So we hit it. And now the last thing is the money, of course. I want to talk about money real quick. How many bartenders are here? All right, a lot of bartenders, that's good. If I could give you one bit of advice, it's budget out your life, seriously, and save money. It took me years and years and years. 4 years ago, I was going through a shitty breakup. I I don't know, $100 in my bank account. I was like, if that, I was living way too fast. I was making a lot of money too, living fast, blowing it all away, both figuratively and literally. And I decided I needed to make a change. So I wrote down everything I made, every sort of event I did, every night, every shift I worked. I wrote down all the money I made, and then I wrote down all the money I spent, and I just separated them. I pretty much did a P&L of my life, and I made it very important that I just at least save something. Save something and save something. And even if it's a little bit. And then think about 4 years later, we're sitting around after we saw our location, and we're talking about budget. There's a lot of wealthy people out there in Singapore, but they didn't get wealthy just by luck. They're businessmen, and they're very serious about who they're giving money to. They're not just like throwing money around to anybody. So we're sitting around, and we're talking about the budget, and we're like, how much more do we need to fit our budget so we can make this project happen? And they already committed to a certain amount. And they said, listen, we need this much. And I'm like nervous as shit. I'm like sweaty, and I'm like guys, I have that. Can I put that in? And they're like, of course, you dumbass, of course you can. So I put in my own money in this project, and immediately some of the richest guys in Singapore that helped us out, like to invest, they're like, you put your money where your mouth is, I like that. We're definitely in, and if you need anything else, you let us know. So in order, like that little bit of respect I got from some of the wealthiest people on earth made me feel already like I accomplished something, For me, respect goes a long way in this business. And that's basically the few points that I want to urge you guys, if you have a brand or want to take a brand global, or even open it up in your own location. I think these are all things that you really have to think about and check off the lists. Speaking of lists, when I moved to Singapore, right, I land, and I land on May 5th, and we opened on June 15th, I didn't have a lot of time to get all this stuff, and that was my job, to get all the bar stuff. I was the bar guy. Somebody drops you off in Singapore. Where do you find an ice machine? I don't fucking know, I don't even have a phone. So I just had to make a list and stay calm. I did a lot of prep work ahead of time and just made a bunch of lists. You make a list of everything you need, your equipment, your inventory, with your staff, make a mock schedule of how much staff you're gonna need, base it off, your existing business, base it off something else, whatever you gotta do. How I'm gonna train these people, how the fuck am I gonna train everybody from scratch? And then of course, PR, who do you wanna reach out to? One thing about having a brand like Employees Only is that we had a lot of hype around us. The whole country wanted to try us. But it was also it was kind of a curse in a way, because they were expecting some sort of mythical bar from New York to blow their minds in the beginning. But I had a brand new staff and a brand new location. So it was all this uphill fighting I had to do to meet expectations. Talk about making a list. Equipment, make a wish list. So I wanted to improve on what we had in New York. We're 13 years old in New York. Things are a bit, older there. It's part of the charm in New York, but I just can't bring an old-ass bar to Singapore in a new-ass market. I had to adapt and change the brand, like I said before. What do I need? Who do I call? How much do I pay? Do I need it now, or do I need it later? And then, of course, just check it off the list. Check it off the list. Ice machine, Hoshizaki. How much? Who do I call? When you're done, yes, I need an ice machine. Here's just a little list of one of my initial lists of many lists, basically. What do I need? What the model is. You don't have to get so far into detail, but you see what I'm doing. The supplier, the price of everything. Obviously, all that stuff would be filled in. How much do I need? Ordered. And of course, I'd check with my finance guy, Josh, to make sure that we could afford all this stuff before I went ahead and pulled the trigger. Chances are they would call me princess because I wanted so much shit, But hey, what are you gonna do? Inventory. I prepared a dream menu, right? Of all the things I always wanted to do in New York, but I was always met with Like, we just have a small space with not a lot of storage in New York. That's just the way it is. But now I have this brand new building where I could sort of, you know, change things around, sort shit out the way I wanted to. You know, I'm the most senior guy now. I can do whatever the hell I want. And I made a wish list of like a dream menu of like products I wanted, stuff I wanted to end up serving, and then I had to go ahead and find it. You know, I had to reach out to the distributors, find them, see their prices, cost out everything. I was up many nights with these damn spreadsheets. You all good at spreadsheets here? You better get good at them, I'll tell you, or at least somewhat good at them, because they saved my ass for sure. Opening order, you know, you don't want to order too much stuff. You want to order just enough to get you by. You don't have much credit to start. So with our small budget, lack of credit, you have to pick and choose what you're going to get, and your menu's going to change depending on what you can actually afford. And you make adjustments as needed, you know. Here's an initial spreadsheet of mine for doing ordering and stuff that would all link in together with all my cocktail costs. I'm sure everybody has their own spreadsheet if you manage any bars here. Everybody's spreadsheet's better than everyone else's. It's kind of like for a bar manager, spreadsheets is like a Bloody Mary, you know? Everybody thinks they have the best one, you know? But, you know, I just separate everything by spirit, by distributor, how much the cost. Know all your costs, know how much everything costs. It's very essential to running a bar, whether you're a bar manager or whether you're a bar owner. Know this stuff. Have the answers. Here's something I had to contemplate too. Citrus is different too in Singapore. Lime juice is a lot more tart than it is in New York. Lime and lemon juice is very tart, so I had to change some recipes around. And booze is very, very, very expensive, right? This is a stirred drink, our Manhattan cocktail. It's the #1 drink on our, or the first drink on our menu in New York. And it's a drink I have to bring. It's like we're coming from Manhattan. This is our like Jerry Thomas style Manhattan. So on the top left is like our New York specs, right? If I charged $22 for that and sing, I'd be at a 39% pour cost, which is god-awful, terrible. I couldn't do it. I couldn't afford to make the Manhattan cocktail at employees only. So what the hell do I do? That's what I was thinking. So I tried to change it around. Down below, I switched out the Coquitorino for Martini Rosso. I'm still at 33%, still not good enough. Can't do it. In New York, the average pour cost, I think maybe in Europe it's different. I think you do like maybe 80% instead of 20%. Like I do 20% cost, I think you do 80% profit. But 20% is what you want to aim for in New York. And here I am, my local partner Josh told me that 28 is good in Singapore, which blew my mind already. Because like if I saw 28 pour cost any time in New York, I'd probably have a fucking stroke. So that wasn't working for me. So then I adjusted the recipe and I bumped everything down by a 1/4 ounce, right? Still at 30%, okay, but the Manhattan's gonna be popular. Bumped it down, boom, 25%. I could do 25%. And then you make it and you taste it. Is this something you want to sell people? Will it work? You know, sometimes you have to like put out the best possible product that you can, but sometimes you got to think about the money as well. Cute little plot twist is that we just charge $25 for cocktails instead of 22, so that helped us out. Costed out every drink, right? With everything. This is what I did. I was up all night, you know, costing out every drink. Anything that I didn't know the price of, I'd put in like pink, and my whole job was to eliminate any pink. I was there all night, you know, finding distributor, finding a price, see if I could get a better deal, click it off the list. And does everybody have a little drink? Does everybody have a little taste of a drink? So we've never been a type of bar to have a signature cocktail, you know. I always thought that's kind of lame, you know. I could make anything for anybody. That's kind of what I want to do. I don't want to just make one drink. But I wanted to take charge of one of my favorite drinks, and that's the Gimlet. Right? This is our house Gimlet that you're trying now. This one's made with 2 ounces of Tanqueray, but at employees only in Singapore. It's one of our top-selling drinks and our most like covered drinks by everybody, and that's our Gimlet. When you think about the Gimlet, you know, Navy strength gin. You know the story of the Gimlet. well-traveled drink, you know, preventing people from scurvy, preserved lime juice. The officers, the sailors would get their ration of gin. My man, Dr. Gimlet, would give them the gimlet to fight the scurvy, you know? At least that's what they told these guys. So me, traveling from New York, I used Perry's Tot Gin, which is from Brooklyn, where my house was. A well-traveled drink in a former British colony. It just all made sense. Our house-made lime cordial is fresh lime, agave nectar, and kaffir lime leaf, which is something local. So now I'm blending something local with something that means a lot to me, with a good story, some Brooklyn gin, freaking 100 and whatever the hell proof Navy strength gin. And you can see the pour cost on that is 10.26%. So we're making a killer on this stuff. Comes on a hand-cut ice block. We're crushing it. This I'm going to talk about later. Does everybody have any questions too? Feel free to stop me at any time and ask a lot of questions. I hate just being up here giving speeches without, you know, any kind of interaction. So raise your hand if you have a question or any concern or comment. Like I said, in New York, we're shackled by lack of space. Nothing beats that New York energy and vibe, which is what we're known for. But I always wanted to do like some more, you know, some cooler stuff. You know, I wanted a slushy machine. You know, I wanted a blender. We can't do it though. You know, it's impossible. Singapore, I have a brand new canvas to do whatever the hell I want. You know, so I took things in steps and phases. I'll show you a couple examples of our growing, right? Just glassware. One on the left is in New York, right? The drink is damn good. It's our Thunder in Paradise with rum and sherry and coconut and orgeat and lime. Damn good. I went to Singapore. This photo is misleading, but it's a lot bigger on the right photo, man. But you guys have seen these Pilsner glasses. I wanted these things, man. I go to every bar. Every bar has them. I wanted it. I want to pack that ice in, you know? So I just did little things like that to tweak our drinks in New York, just to make them a little bit more, I guess, modern, you know, and a little bit more fun. You can't really see this from far away, even from up close, but this is a menu that I had in New York before I left. This would come in a folded little packet, you know what I mean? We had EO Classics, drinks on the menu from day one that are never going to leave the menu. But it's hard for me to push these like classics for the bar when we're a brand new bar. So I wanted to change the menu structure around back to what it used to be when employees only first started. And this was my first menu, simple. Easy executed, not many homemade ingredients, stuff that's been tried and tested, blend of classics and originals, stuff that I know works kind of universally. Not too crazy, very simple, not too out of control. Because when I first started there, I just wanted to get, you know, the staff working and moving, and, you know, we're a free pouring bar as well. So, you know, the easier the drinks to start, the better we'll have a base to go crazy later on. 1 year later, I got my slushy machine. I did my large format bottled cocktails, and you can see it's a lot more cleaned and a lot more organized, and it's the best damn menu I ever put out. It's right here. It happened a year after we opened in Singapore. And the staff got good, so prep could get more intense, you know? Things boxed up, like the Gimlet on the right is boxed up. You know, our slushy is boxed up. Another like high, low-cost item, high reward. Bottled cocktails, something, because when we're high volume, you do a bottled Negroni, throw that bad boy out there. One thing I learned in Singapore, if you can make a whiskey sour and Negroni in an old-fashioned, you could get by. But a little peek about what I just thought about with the menu and how we can just tweak it a little bit to make it a little bit more mine. The wine list, this was fun. I don't know shit about curating a wine list, you know what I mean? We pay somebody in New York to handle our wine, you know? I'll just tell them if it tastes good or not. So I was like, all right, I have a space for this many wines. In New York, we have way too many wines that we need. So I'm gonna minimize it and get something a little bit more balanced, you know what I mean? So I just said, okay, this is the wines I want. This is how much I want to charge. And then all the wine purveyors that came to me, I said, hey, here's my wine list. What can you do to fill in those gaps? And I let the reps pretty much curate my wine list for me. And I just tasted them. I said, I want this, I want this, I want this. And I made a few changes, and I was able to curate my wine list that way. So if y'all don't know shit about wine or how to curate a wine list, I'd recommend trying this because this really saved my ass as far as ease, you know? The grape, the region, the price, and then you have all your millions of wine salespeople that are knocking on your door every day. Show them it, and then see what they got for you. All right, staffing. This was the biggest hassle by far. Big pain in the ass. We went many different routes to find staff and to get a lot of people in. We got a lot of resumes, we got a lot of interviews, and ultimately, I didn't give a shit what anybody did before they got to Employees Only Singapore. Everyone was going to start in the same level, same rank. I hired people I wanted to hang out with because I knew I was going to hang out with them every damn day of my life for the next year. So something to think about when you hire, it's a character thing. You know, hire somebody that you think will get the job done, you know? Somebody that you think that you could enjoy being around. Jawei was the last person I hired. This guy was so freaking organized. I definitely needed somebody like him. If we were the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, he'd be the guy in the purple. What's his name? Donatello. Yeah, he would be Donatello, absolutely. I remember I saw his resume. He gave me a couple of references with a bartender nearby that worked at Sugar Hall and Jigger and Pony. I'm like, what do you think of Jawei? And he said, Steve, Jawei's a diamond in the rough. That's what he said. And I just started laughing. I was like, all right, dude. So I hired him. And we're going to talk more about him in a little bit. But, you know, when you get to know these people, you want to train everybody to do every job in the house, which is what we did. And after about a week or two, you find who's better at what, and you kind of just plug them into this spot. Who's better at doing prep? Who's not too good at talking to guests? Whose drinks are better? Who moves fast but's a little sloppy? And just try to kind of piece together your whole team, you know? Exactly what I did. Here's an idea of some of the hardships I went through for trying to hire people. Mr. Eddie on the left here, he sends me his resume. I hit him up. Eddie, it's Steve. Hi, sir. Like, we had bounced back a couple emails. Please let me know when you're able to chat. Okay, sure, sir. I will call you later. Thank you. Where are you from, sir? I was like, I'm from New York. Thank you. Never heard from him ever again. What the fuck? The next guy. Hey, Sean, it's Steve. When are you available to chat? Gosh, tough one. Is there any questions you'd like to ask? Not you, motherfucker. You know, like so these little things, man, they just got me, because I'm a New Yorker coming to Singapore where everybody's kind of chill. I was like the most intense person in the room at all times. I didn't have time for any of this shit. I wanted to find people that were just willing to just let it all out, you know? And like, fancy. So I wanted to like sell people on the concept of employees only. I didn't hire people and interview them and say, okay, well, I'm going to hire you to bartend, and I want to hire you to be a server, this and that. I told them the story of employees only, and I showed them a slideshow about who we are, who I am, what I want to do, you know? And before I knew it, you know, the people I was interviewing was like, hell yeah, let's do it, you know, like, let's do this together, you know, just kind of rally the troops, you know? I remember training Jawei. After I hired everybody, I went back to my apartment, and I showed him my training as far as free pouring. I used my eye, I used my hands, I used a lot of different things. And the first time I was just pouring stuff in a mixing glass and telling him how much was in it without even measuring, he freaked out. He was like, oh my God, this guy's a fucking magician. And then 15 minutes later, he was doing it. And I could see how proud he was of himself to sort of, you know, to develop a skill that was relatively unknown for the community out there. And for that, I think I was able to get people to buy into what I was doing. Be a leader, outwork everybody. I worked every damn day for at least the first 5 months, you know. You guys had to kick me out of the bar at some point, yeah? You got to outwork them, you know. You can't just point fingers as an owner, as a leader, you know. While you can still go, if you have the energy to go, outwork them. Show them why you're in this position. A lot of the bartenders you hire are going to be people that want to be in your position. I started as a bartender 15 years ago. I started as a bar back 15 years ago, cleaning up puke and beating up Georgetown kids. I always wanted to be a bar owner, and when I had the opportunity to do it, I took advantage of every opportunity. And I made sure that my whole staff, all between the ages of 20 and 24 at this point, I told them, you can do this stuff too, you know? Like, buy in, buy in, buy in, and I'll provide you with everything. But in the meantime, I'm going to outwork your ass until you could hold your own. Constant tests. Once a month we have a little, what is it called? We had like a little like standardized recipe training. We have a written test. We'll have other things. There's a lot of different outlets there for training. So you want to push people as hard as you can to get them to make them better. But everyone learns at a different, level. So you don't want to just train everyone the same. You have to look at somebody and highlight their strengths, see what they're good at, and slowly improve them. All the while, you just got to do it yourself. If they can't get the job done, you got to do it yourself, because no one else is going to do it for you. It's a damn good Gimlet. All right, PR. The importance of PR is freaking huge. Do all you all agree about that? I mean, look at these like awards and stuff like that. They're all PR based, man. They are. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat any of you guys. It's like, what's the use of having such a great bar and a great bar team if nobody knows about it? You got to get yourself out there. You got to get the word out there, and by any means possible, really. So we hired a publicist. There's a great company in Singapore to help us out with that. They do all the stuff for Proof & Co., 28 Hong Kong Street, Manhattan. Who else do they cover? They cover everybody. Well, they were able to help us get in certain outlets that we have. Right now, our publicist is actually Igor's wife. So that's actually quite a luxury for us. But we're constantly reaching out to outlets that we want to be in. We're constantly reaching out to people, pitching stories. Social media, very important. As much as a friggin' toxic curse Facebook can be, it's also has its benefits, At least in the States. I had to deactivate my Facebook. My God, American bartenders are driving me crazy. Crazy. Every day they're complaining about something else. I'm complaining about them now, Jesus Christ. And our opening parties, get parties, get photos, get it out there. Reach out to people. I was able to get a few magazine covers, which was really freaking cool, They don't just give these out to anybody, so you got to like take advantage of that and fucking throw it out there. Be like, hey guys, look what happened. There's a little review in the middle, which was great. It was from Difford's Guide. Simon Difford came to the bar with his girl, had a great freaking time. And when he said it was 5 out of 5 with all the other cool bars in Singapore, that made me really happy. So as much media stuff you could get in, go for it. Even if your market is small, there's got to be local media, And you got to decide who is going to read this stuff too. A lot of trade magazines, not too many of the real people actually, the average person actually reads these things. But like we were in a lot of other stuff that is seen by a wide audience, like the young ladies, the young men, the professionals, the finance guys, the guys with money, the business insider stuff, the business magazines. Get your stuff out there, because these are the people that come to your bar and spend all that money. I put stars next to all this stuff. Remember I showed you that slide of how much the Gimlet cost me? I made sure in every damn article I mentioned that Gimlet somewhere, and I gave it to the writer. I made them have it. I told them the story, and they loved it. They loved it. I pushed that damn Gimlet on every damn thing that you'll see. We'll mention the Gimlet, and it makes us money, If you have that one drink or a couple drinks that make you some really good money and good press, then everything else, you could do some cool stuff that maybe might cost you a little extra money. You could explore your super creative side. You could push the boundaries a little bit. But having that one drink to really back us up really helped us out a lot, especially in an expensive market like Singapore. So always, fucking Gimlet, 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 freaking Gimlet. That's all I kept talking to these people about. Until they're like, holy shit, the Gimlet's awesome. You got to keep pushing these writers and keep pushing these guests and telling them what's so good. And it's freaking damn good, too. I'm not just pushing bullshit on people. I think my Gimlet is the best damn thing I've ever made. One of the best things I've ever made. Another thing, I talked about the media outlets you want to be in, you got to reach out to them and you got to see which one. This is female freaking magazine. I would love to be on female magazine. Are you kidding me? Single dude, yeah, absolutely. So went in there and schmoozed the freaking editor, schmoozed the writers, gave her a Gimlet, you know, everything, whatever she wants, you know, food, everything. Got it in there. So something else to think about. If you only just like reach out to like other cocktail writers and like industry press, you could only get so far. You might get some awards over that, but it's very important to get the average person into what you're doing, and at least in the door, and then your hospitality could kind of speak for itself. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're going perfect in time. Facebook as well, you know. Our employees only Facebook is really freaking funny. All we do is kind of post photos of funny shit. Like we thought this photo of Joe was really funny, winning a Tales of the Cocktail Award, so he was our cover photo. Get involved in the community in kind of a humorous way. Let people know you're not so serious, because we're not. You know, we're a bunch of clowns. Also post some articles about, you know, the cool shit you're doing. Get a following. Also, if you got food, post about the food. Post all this stuff, you know. This is easy stuff, but it's stuff that we did and was very effective. And now though, I want to talk about the future. The most important thing for me when developing employees only in Singapore was not really about me at all. I talked about myself and my experiences, this and that. But the thing that makes employees only in New York so special is the fact that somebody like me, who came in as an apprentice in employees only, the lowest level you can get, you know, after bartending for 6 years, by the time I got hired there, I had worked my ass up the past 10 years in employees only, was the fact that the people who came before me gave me a chance to kind of shine. They gave me a platform to kind of do cool stuff and to kind of travel, you know, and covered my ass when I fucked up, you know. So I think it's very important if you want to create your own place, or if you're in any kind of position of leadership, to find somebody that buys in to exactly what you're doing, somebody who gets it and takes advantage of all their opportunities, and give him or her every freaking platform to do all the cool stuff that you're doing. And that's how we live forever in this damn business, you know. It's not by what we do, it's about what people that we train do. Never forget that. That's if you all take anything out of this, it's the importance of training up staff and making them better than how you were. And this leads me to Jawei here, who has been an absolute standout, a damn dream come true. To see where he was now, or then, and to where he is now, he had an opportunity. We sent him to New York to work in employees only for over a week. You know, we sent him here to BCB to meet a lot of industry people from around the world, do all this cool stuff. Jawei, can you say hello to our friends?
Hello.
Yeah. In the past, I've been gone in employees only in Singapore for 4 months. I went and opened my own place in Panama, and then I spent 2 months, like I said, in New York City, pizza, parents. Going back to Singapore on Friday, the past 4 months, Jawei's pretty much been in charge. He's the only apprentice that I hired to bartender, and he's going to be the head bartender there for as long as he wants to be. And man, I just want to ask you real quick, you know, like, how do you feel like you've grown this past year and change, man?
I joined employees only about a year plus ago. I was in the military in national service for Singapore, which is a must for every Singaporean. So I'd say that the opportunity, the timing, it's good that that time frame when I was getting out of military, I'm done with it, EO is hiring. I went on Facebook and saw that, oh, there's a new bar opening. How about I give it a try? Get out of my comfort zone and then do something out there, get my ass kicked, change myself to be a better person, better bartender. Before that, I don't know anything about EO. I don't know what is EO, who is Steve, who is Igor. I just give it a try. Why not? Give yourself more chances, get out, learn some stuff from somebody nothing to do with Singapore. I was working part-time in one of the cocktail bars called Bitters and Love before I was in the military, doing part-time to earn some allowance for myself when I was studying engineering, which I got totally no link with it right now. And then just send Steve, drop an email, and then got a interview. And then about the last few days in the military where I was packing up my vehicle, which I was a vehicle commander.
This guy drove tanks, okay? He was in charge of tanks, this little man. Blow your ass away.
Yeah, I was in a tank, and then Steve called me. I was like, holy shit, I'm going to stop my vehicle somewhere. I was outfield actually doing some mission. I'm going to just stop somewhere, pick up the call, hello? And then what I got, hey, do you want a job? I'm like, why not? I get it. I say, yes, I want it. And I'm in. Start from nothing, really nothing. Free pouring is the first challenge. No one in Singapore actually does that, I would say. Everyone is using jigger. And then after that, head to Steve's apartment. Free pour. Show me the magic. I learn it, practice it daily with the pour check, which I also brought it. Keep it and hanging actually in just right in my bed. Tell me that it's a practice for me every day to get it perfect. I'm all in. Either go big or go home. And I went big. I do everything that I must. I need to listen, adapt, learn the culture, EO. What is EOSG about? Learn it, how we move behind the bar, how we do things, how we interact. And talking about interaction, I would say that Steve said to me that you need to talk to people more. I would say that I'm more of a person that just work and then there's no interaction at all. But after that, the little weekly meeting that we have, things that we are doing good, things that we need to improve on, things that will make you move to the next stage, which makes me open up. Since I'm all in, why not? It's my mentor, the figure that I look up to, listen, and then open up myself, interact with people. I would say the first few months, I'll be more on the floor side, serving food, serving dishes, serving drinks. And then I earned that opportunity, which Steve has promised me in the interview that this would be a great platform, exposure and experience, where I got it all now, the platform. Now I'm in Berlin with Steve. The exposure, traveling around, New York last November, Thailand, some guest shift, now in Berlin. This platform, this experience, it's all interaction also. Sharing your experience, sharing what I went through. So it's really a good thing, good move. I'm all in, I go all out, and I want to make EOSG proud. I'm the first, maybe the fastest also to get the apprentice jacket, about 3 to 4 months. I told myself, I want to be the first, I want to be the one, I want to lead it. I want to be the leader, to be the one actually doing the right things, guiding people out, and then do whatever it takes in the right way to make EOSG there, which Steve entrusts me, the bar that he built up within a year, and then pass it to me, and I want him to actually...
I trust you more than Igor at this point, Jesus.
Yeah, so make the bar flows as perfect as I can.
I didn't know what the hell he was going to say. What he just said right there damn near brought me to tears, but this is exactly my vision when I wanted to open EO Singapore, was to have people set goals in this business and achieve whatever the hell they want to do. And I'll tell you one thing, I promised everybody one thing, just an opportunity and a platform to make something of yourself. And I urge you all the same thing, to just take whatever opportunity you have and whatever platform you have and make the most of it. Save your money. Always push yourself to get better. I can only do so much, you know, when I'm training my team. It's up to them to take advantage of it and prove themselves and push themselves. I asked Jawai yesterday, we had a little meeting. I asked him about his short-term plans and long-term plans. All of your short-term plans should equal that long-term plan. It should kind of all get there. And he's right on track. And I'll do anything that I can to make sure that this happens. And for me, that is what makes a good fucking bar, you know? And that kind of stuff will never go out of style, you know? We're the busiest bar in town for a reason. It's because we have people that want to be there and that want to further themselves and better themselves. And that's something that if you're all going to start your own bar, whether it be in your own hometown or somewhere else, I urge you guys to try to instill that culture. And the only way to do it is by getting back there and making it happen yourself, because ain't nobody going to give you a damn thing, you know? I'm sure you all could agree with me on some level when it comes to stuff like that. We have to wrap up soon. I'm about at my time limit. But do we have any questions for either me or Jawai? If you want to reach out to me, you know, all the Employees Only Singapore, Instagram, whatever the hell, Facebook is at Employees Only SG. Reach out to us. If you're in town, come visit. Hit me up. I'll be around somewhere. I could always direct you to Jawai if you all want to come by. But it means a lot to me that you all came here today to listen to me talk about something that means a lot to me, and to also come here and support Jawai as well. So thank you guys and girls so much. I appreciate it. It's good to see friendly faces. Does anybody have anything for me? Anybody? All right. Yep, what's up? Nectalia and Jan. Nice. Well, sorry about that one brunch. Did he tell you about the brunch? I flaked on brunch because I was... What's up, man?
What up? You see? So my first question is, it's only one question. What about the other part of the team? Except him. How are things going on in Singapore? I mean, do you have a lot of changing of people?
Oh, no, we have had very minimal turnover, and also good news, we paid back our investors in 9.5 months. I forgot to mention that.
Good job,
since the time we opened, yeah. Business is great, man. Everybody's bought into it. The apprentices, the men and women who are still wearing apprentice jackets, they know that their time is coming. They just need to, similar to martial arts. When do you get your black belt? When you master your forms and you could break the fucking cinder block, you know what I mean?
So
they know what's coming.
It's a matter of own personality, right?
I can't hear you.
It's more like a matter of own personality, not that much of a team job, but for the person to have like his morals. And
well, of course, but it all goes back to the team as well. Everyone personally has their own goals, you know, but I don't stand for any kind of selfishness. You know, if you put your own personal goals above the team, that's an easy way out. It's an easy way for you to never get promoted, you know what I mean? It's always about the team, and that's something that we've been very, very, very adamant on talking about.
Cool, thanks.
Thank you. Where are you from?
Sofia, Bulgaria, Sputnik, cocktail bar.
Bulgaria.
Always welcome, man.
Cheers, man. Thank you.